These are your Penn State football practice highlights. I'm Thomas Frank Carr. Check out a fresh look at the Nittany Lions weekly on the Blue White Illustrated YouTube channel. Penn State heads into its first Big Ten game of the year against Illinois on Saturday. Usually, this isn't a game that Penn State fans would get juiced up for. But fans remember the loss that unraveled the 2021 season 2 years ago, when Illinois racked up 357 yards rushing on the way to a historic 20-18 victory in a record 9 overtimes in that game. Since then, there have been questions about the Penn State defensive tackles, and those have persisted all offseason. So, is Penn State ready for a new test up front? Head coach James Franklin says he's been happy with his front seven overall this year, and he's looking for them to just make improvements each week, which they did in week 2. In the end, Penn State is not asking its defense to stop every run for no gain. They just need to get critical stops to put Illinois in a position where they can't convert third and short with the running game. Then, the team's strength, its pass rush, and its coverage can take over. Much has been made about the Penn State running game not breaking off big runs through the first 2 games of the season. Part of that is because they face conservative defenses that are willing to give up yardage on the ground in order to keep a lid on back-breaking big-time plays. Illinois is not like that. They play an aggressive, single-high coverage that stacks the box, but allows more leeway for big runs if Nick Singleton and Katron Allen can break into the open field through that 8-man defense. We're not saying that Penn State is going to break a big run this week, but the situation is much more favorable than it was to start the year. From a schematic perspective, this is an excellent time for the duo to prove themselves to be superstars. However, there's a fine line between that and pressing too much. Yet Penn State has shown that they're not a one-trick offense. What'd you think? We're not going to show you or talk about Drew Aller? Of course we are. According to PFF, the fresh-faced starter has been incredibly efficient through the first 2 games of the season, compiling a 90% adjusted completion percentage. Last week, he was a responsible and mature player, completing the passes that the Delaware defense gave him and not pressing. Some quarterbacks may have gotten impatient and thrown the ball into dangerous windows that the defense was baiting them into, but Aller resisted the urge to do so. This week, he'll likely face a different challenge. Can he fit the ball into tight, man-covered windows? And more importantly, can his receivers get open? Each week, there's a new question to ask and answer with the first-time starter and this offense. As always, we can't wait to find out. Those are your Penn State practice highlights. I'm Thomas Frank Carr.